As soon as you're away.
All right,
who's this? Applications are open.
All right, let's just
That's your ting, bro. That's your girl.
Let's end this, please.
Cooked.
You know what? I'm not doing this. Sorry, guys. It's pointless.
For the fact that Piers Morgan just stormed out of this interview, it is never going to come out now, but we have the full thing that we're going to break down and we'll put on this channel for you guys that wanted to watch what happened. I highly doubt Piers Morgan will ever release this on his own channel. So it started off with the production team trying to set up HSTikkyTokky with the productions that took ages.
Celebrating men, but also hating women. Also spoken and written a lot about how the manosphere influencers have filled a very real vacuum of male role models. They've given many young men an outlet for their frustrations about a culture which they think talks them down and blames them for everything, even as they've become poorer, lonelier, dumber by every available measure. In my view, the likes of Andrew Tate have not always wielded their huge influence responsibly. I've told him that to his face multiple times.
Yeah. Comedy and I, Harrison.
The real problems they've exploited. Louis Theroux's new documentary, Inside the Manosphere on Netflix, puts a different spin on things. Many believe it's a cultural watershed. Instead of the brainstorming hubris and bullish ambition we've come to expect, the stars of the show are depicted as shallow, insincere money grabbers whose only real motivation seems to be social media clout. There's no doubt that many young men find all these people highly entertaining. But it begs the question, is anyone really taking them seriously anymore? The influencers themselves are unrepentant, say they've been unfairly edited. In a moment, I'll be joined by two of the stars of the show, Justin Waller and Myron Gaines.
All had a solo.
We'll begin with the man who's probably faced the biggest backlash of all.
To save time and cost, and sometimes people come to the studio, what will happen is a camera crew team will go to the person they're interviewing and get a live, clear production of that person they're interviewing. But Piers Morgan is back in the studio, so it's not a Zoom call because they got better quality involved in the production behind it. But it takes ages to even get into the interview.
So look, I'll be honest, I didn't know who you were until about 2 weeks ago. When I was
Piers, sorry, I'd really like to see your beautiful face while I'm talking to you. I can't see you.
Okay. Well, if you'd like to see my beautiful face, I'm sure we can.
I'd love to. I feel like that's more of a connection, you know. I'm talking to.
We'll try and sort that.
Let's crack on while we try and fix your face, so we're good. We'll try and fix it so you can also see mine.
Perfect.
Let me just ask you, Harrison. I didn't know anything about you before about 2 weeks ago when I read a preview of Louis Theroux's show. I've known Louis a long time. Always find his work interesting. It's very observational. I think rather than anything else, he lets other people do the judging. And when I watched you in action in it, I was like, what? Why would you do it?
Still, the production is not properly set up here. This is kind of behind the scenes stuff that he was streaming live to his audience, so he didn't get taken out of context. But HSTikkyTokky did not get paid at all for that documentary to come out on Netflix. That's mainly why the mainstream media are so confused on why he did it.
Why would you expose yourself to somebody like Louis Theroux coming into your world, into your life, and kind of lifting the lid off what it really is? Because until you did that, you can exist in your world and you can have a lot of fun and you can make your money and it doesn't really hit the sides. But when you're laid bare by Louis Theroux to the world on Netflix, most people, I'll be straight with you, just have been laughing at you.
After you said laid bare, I couldn't hear you.
Okay. Shall we get the tech stuff sorted, guys?
Can you hear us now?
I still can't see you as well, Piers. Sort out that. But I can hear you. Yeah, laid bare to the world.
Well, hang on. If we're not recording it, I'll be... Okay, but if he could... Yeah. No, I don't think that's the answer, actually. Sorry. I think we need to fix the tech.
Yeah, let's fix this. I can't see him. This is stupid. Let's have a conversation. Hey, Piers, turn on your camera, bro.
Without Piers Morgan on camera, he was not going to be held accountable for anything himself on his interview, and you will see why he wants him on camera as we get towards the end of this video. It is worth the wait for some of the stuff that Piers Morgan gets asked for the first time.
I can't hear you now. Bro, this is really amateur. I can't hear you now.
Can you hear me now or not?
I can hear you now, yeah.
Okay, good. All right, let's just pick it up. I'm just curious why you did the show. Did you not know Louis Theroux? Did you think it would be something else? Are you pleased with the way you came over?
So I had no idea who Louis Theroux was. Obviously now I know he's a great documentarian. I can't see you now. Again, bro, what is this? I can see you now. You know, the morning that he was coming round, I had some of my team come to me and go, oh, do you realize what this is? Do you realize who he is? I wasn't asked, and I'm still not bothered about it, you know? Some people might think it was a mistake going on. Me, I thought it was a very, very fun experience. I've even texted him since saying that, you know, I enjoyed making it, and the backlash I've received from it, I also enjoy that as well, because I've got, you know, I can just rage bait people in my DMs, which I enjoy doing anyway.
The thing that HS is doing to combat TV, where he is streaming, he has everything. So all the edits and all the cuts to take him out of context in any way would be stupid for them to do, because the full things are really on his stream and in thousands of clips over TikTok. So when he done the documentary, he was also filming and benefiting himself.
I mean, look, as I was saying to you when we tried to start this, what you want to do with your life is entirely down to you. It's no impact on me whatsoever. The only interest I would have, a bit like Louis Theroux, is the influence that you wield over young men. And when I was watching the Netflix show, I was just curious what you want that influence to be. Right? Because your mother's in the show, and we'll come to quite an amusing clip where she talks about me, actually. She doesn't want you to do this interview, I think, was the bottom line. So you're defying your mother again, and we'll come to that. But your mother's, you know, I was watching her and I was watching you interact with them. I actually knew your father a bit back in the 90s. Victor Abugu, who was an England rugby player. Met him a few times, liked him. And we can come to that as well. You know, and I'm just curious how somebody whose mum is like that, whose dad was like he was when I knew him, how somebody ends up thinking that the key to life, that the joy of life, the satisfaction of life, comes from rage baiting people in their DMs, rather than something a little bit more, you know, I hesitate to use words where your fan base will go, oh, shut up, granddad, you don't get it. But is there not more to life to be achieved than rage baiting morons in their DMs?
Some of the stuff that could be confronted on HSTikkyTokky's behavior is the stuff around the scams, the crypto stuff, things he's done in the past, but he always come with the same angle about him having a poor influence on young men. Maybe there are some young boys that act a little bit wild to females or something that raises some concerns, but also kids are always going to be kids, and there's always going to be poor role models on the internet. It's up to the parents to guard their kids from it. It's the same sort of mainstream media questions that we see through the Tate era as well. And before this interview even began, some behind the scenes, HSTikkyTokky was saying he's got some things up his sleeves. If Piers Morgan takes it a certain way and calls him certain things, he's going to clap back with his own. So he did some research before.
You know, I don't really know anything about him, nor have I done any research. I was meant to go out with a ting earlier and I fell asleep. I've been asleep all day, partied hard last night, I had a great night. So, you know, I do have a couple of community notes which I may refer to if needed, but I'm genuinely not trying to go there. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't want to. I'm annoyed he can't be here in the flesh because he broke his hip. It would be nice to talk to him directly.
Hip or knee?
He broke his hip. Yeah, he broke his hip. I'm not sure how.
Okay, I'm glad you called them morons, because that is the idiots that I've attracted from the mainstream coverage with the documentary. But there's a lot more to life. For me, the main thing in life is making money, being healthy, and enjoying that money with my family and having great experiences. The experiences that I have now, since I've come back for Mother's Day, whatever, with my mum, in the last, 5-6 years since I've been on social media, have been great. And they're the things that I'll be looking back on when I'm 60, 70 years old. You know, the nice dinners, the nice weather, just the nice times that I've shared. So I don't think the beauty of life is rage baiting retards in my comments. But when I'm sat there,
what do you actually want your younger male followers to end up being like? It's a genuine question. Because in the Netflix show, what I saw was a guy who says, look, on the one hand, if I had a daughter who did OnlyFans, I'd disown her. And yet you are directly involved in promoting a load of women who are on OnlyFans.
So this was actually brought up a lot in the documentary, and I totally get the angle. It makes sense. If you look down on them so much, then why do you benefit from it yourself? But it has always been the case. If you look back through history, when there was before social media, there were pimps, they would look down on the girls that they're pimping out, but make money from it. It's always been the same sort of thing. These OF guys that do it and take a back end of the women's money are modern day pimps on the internet. It's the same sort of thing. It's always existed, and trying to confront someone over it just don't really make sense. It's always been around.
Right?
You're a smart man, right? You wouldn't be in this position if you weren't a smart man. You can answer that question yourself. You know exactly why I'm promoting girls. I'm not even actively promoting any right now, but you know exactly why I'm doing it. You don't need to ask me that question. There you go. You answer. So why are you asking a question you already know?
No. I'm not.
It's a very, very easy answer.
You're missing my point, Harrison. I'm not disputing that you are making money or that you're perfectly entitled to. I'm just curious why you would want to send a message to young men you're trying to be influential over, to the extent where you want them to part with money to be like you. And on the one hand, your message is OnlyFans is awful, these girls that do it are awful. But on the other hand, you're making money promoting them. It's hypocritical.
Look, I think OnlyFans girls can do what they want, you know. I'm not bothered. It's the same way I think people can be gay if they want. I'm not bothered. When it comes into my family, where I have control over the situation, that's where I'll dictate what happens. So it's a very valid point that I don't want my daughter to be on OnlyFans. I don't want my daughter to be in the red light district in Amsterdam. But if I went to Amsterdam and I was walking down and I saw a Colombian 9 out of 10, would I go in and visit? Well, depends how many drinks I'd had that night. But that doesn't mean I necessarily agree with it or would like that girl to be my daughter or would raise my daughter like that.
The main thing that people don't realize, HSTikkyTokky is a streamer. So no matter how much outrage is attached to him, as long as he's getting clipped and people are watching him, he can say what he wants. In 2026, people can have outrageous opinions and get away with it. You can't police the internet, which the mainstream media constantly try and do. So this angle that soon backfires on Piers Morgan of we're a serious TV station, you owe us answers for all them opinions, it just backfires because they're not even taking themselves seriously, they're just streaming.
However, let me just ask you what you said in the documentary. You clearly actually would, by your own admission, disown a son who said they were gay. And yet your mother, you said, hates people that are racist, sexist, homophobic, and so on. Why be so brazenly homophobic if your own mother, who you clearly love and respect and care about, if she's so against that, why would you be so happy to be brazenly homophobic?
I wouldn't say I'm homophobic.
You would disown a child for being gay. That's about as homophobic as it gets.
That's your opinion, and in my opinion, that's not homophobic.
It's a fact of what homophobia is.
Okay.
What do you think homophobia is?
I think they just completely judged this interview wrong. They've had the likes of Andrew Tate on before, who they've discussed more serious topics like politics along with the other issues, but they're asking him why he doesn't have the same opinion as his mother. What kind of question is that? I think every single man across the UK right now has different opinions to his mother on certain subjects. We're not going to agree with our mother on everything. People become their own human beings and adults. I just think the angle that Piers Morgan approached this interview on was just completely off from the start.
I think homophobia would be severely discriminating against gays. And I think that, you know, maybe going around and bullying them or whatever could be considered homophobic.
You don't think
I don't really
your
care
own
what the
child would
definition
be
is.
bullying them because of their sexuality?
I'm not bullying them. I'm not bullying my child.
By disowning them?
It's not bullying.
What is it?
Definitely not bullying.
What would you call it if you disown your own child for being gay? Something they couldn't possibly
I'd call it good parenting. That's what I'd call it. I'd call it good parenting.
Really?
We clearly have different beliefs. I don't care what your belief is. If you grow up,
well,
okay,
no, we don't actually.
you work your whole life.
We both come from the same belief, which is we were brought up by mothers who did not share this view. So actually, we're very similar. It's just you've taken a weird turn where your mother, who hates homophobia, has got a son who actually thinks it's perfectly okay to say you would disown your own child, your own son, if they said they were gay. And
would you be happy if you raised your son and your son came out gay? Would you be happy, Piers? Would you be happy, Piers, if you had one child, one son?
I wouldn't care less.
You wouldn't care?
No.
Okay, then that's your beliefs. Me and you have totally different beliefs.
No, but the only thing
I know
I'm
that you're
interested
trying
in is
to
why
double
you think
down on
your
this
belief.
point.
Yeah, but Harrison, why do you think your belief does not constitute homophobia?
Piers, we can all have a push and a shove.
At this point, this is where the interview goes completely left. And I don't think, for all the interviews I've consumed of Piers Morgan over the years, I've ever seen him so triggered. And it was by a streamer who he probably considers dumb and what he calls a twerp later in the interview.
Whatever happens between you and I, it doesn't matter. You will have owned me, killed me, crushed me, destroyed me. Let's just accept that's a given. Okay? That is how these interviews always go, whether it's Andrew Tate, Nick Fuentes, whoever.
Do you know what I don't like, Piers? Do you know what I don't like?
Gaines in a minute. It'll be the same thing. So I assume. Let me just tell your followers. Harrison at HSTikkyTokky has owned me, beaten me, defeated me.
Okay, listen. I respect guys that have their own opinions, right? But I don't really respect you trying to come on and say, oh, I'm homophobic and try and really push that point when I wouldn't say I'm homophobic at all.
I understand that, but I'm curious why you don't think disowning a child for being gay is homophobic.
What I do with my children is up to me. What I do with my children is up to me.
Of course. Okay? Of course.
I don't agree with you going to Epstein's Island and having freak-offs with Ghislaine Maxwell and the rest of them. But I don't need to bring it up because this is about misogyny and everything like this.
Harrison,
okay?
Harrison.
Okay, I don't agree with that, sir.
Just to be clear,
freak-offs on the island.
Yes, nor do I. And as is
a stated fact.
This has been used against Piers Morgan a few times now, but it is important to clarify, just because you're in the files, your name could have been mentioned where you weren't even in the email, someone talking about you. So the context is really important. There's no proof right now that Piers Morgan's ever been to the island. A lot of this stuff needs investigating thoroughly so we can actually prove the people that had wrongdoing rather than just mentioned overall. But it was enough to trigger Piers Morgan, him being taken out of context.
Are you sure?
Do you want to keep doing this? You'll make yourself look very stupid.
Are you sure, Piers?
That I've never been to Jeffrey Epstein's island. I'm 100% positive. I never met the man, never went to his island. I met Ghislaine Maxwell for 5 minutes at a book launch. If you've got any supplementary
mentioned a lot of times.
No
mentioned
problem.
a lot of times in there, sir.
I have no problem. You're not, I don't think, if I say this very respectfully, I don't think you're very well informed about things like that. Or you wouldn't go there because it's...
Why are you in the files?
Why don't you check the 27 references to me in the files?
Why are you in the files, sir? Very close to these types of people.
Go and check. And all your followers, you can. The great thing about the Epstein files, you can put somebody's name in, and you can
like
see
to compare me to Tate and Myron and everyone else.
This.
So
Harrison,
because my name is close to them in the manosphere. But if I compare you to Epstein and Maxwell, you have a clear problem with it.
No problem.
Sir, you compare me to Myron and all the others in this homophobic, misogynistic, whatever world. I'm comparing you to Epstein then because you're in his files.
Harrison.
Exactly. Let's stop this.
We're moments away from the main event where this just ends the interview completely. They was going to go on a lot longer and have other people on the panel come through and discuss the manosphere because that documentary. But you're about to see why uncut it got cut short.
You're making yourself look an even bigger idiot than you did on the Netflix show.
Oh, really? Really? Yes. To people like you, sir. I don't mind that. You make yourself look like an idiot every single day when your wife is at home posting pictures that you're out and she wants to get used like a toy by a big black man who is cleaning her car. Is that why you have a problem with me? Is that why you're pushing this homophobic narrative? Because I'm the big black man that shagged your wife while you are on holiday. Okay? We can all have a push and a shove, sir. Let's go back to talking about the documentary and less of the homophobia.
Do you know what? Here's what I think about you. I watched the documentary. I think you're a fucking idiot.
What this is, Piers Morgan's wife has a bunch of photos like this on Instagram where she's just playing around and making inappropriate jokes, even taking pictures of men behind and suggesting constantly that she wants a toy boy. Maybe it is her banter and fun, but HS used this against him.
I think you're a sexist, misogynist, homophobic twerp who got exposed in a global way by Netflix, by Louis Theroux, for what you are. You're a little half-wit, and you'll make your little followers
don't get rattled.
Have a little laugh and everything else. But I don't see any point wasting. There's no point me wasting my time talking to you. Is there? What's the point?
Exactly. No. Do you know what? Let's chill it down then, because what I just said, there's 50 more things that we can have a stupid back and forth and try and one up each other.
I don't
just
care
talk
about
to me normally. Talk to me normally. Talk to me normally.
I don't care about your silly insults.
But what do you mean you don't care? What do you mean you don't care? What I said is facts. I have a picture of it. I can flip it around and show you right now.
I couldn't care less about your silly little insults. It's like a 2-year-old. Why would I care?
A 2-year-old. A 2-year-old. Listen, sir, I don't know why you come on and you talk like you're holier than thou. As soon as you're away,
all right, let's end this.
Applications are open.
All right, let's just
That's your ting, bro. That's your girl.
Let's end this, please.
Cooked.
You know what? I'm not doing this. Sorry, guys. It's pointless.
Adam, switch in just back. Tell him to come back on.
If you guys haven't seen before, this isn't the first streamer to ever bring up his wife. There was another situation where it was brought up.
I'm just curious what you genuinely feel.
Well, the thing is, Piers, I'm not political and I didn't play the song, so that's kind of all there is to it, right? And I find it quite silly to me that you're with the #1 looks maxer, and instead of asking how you could ascend so that, you know, your wife wouldn't tweet out captions like, when my husband's away, Mr. Sud comes out to play, maybe if you asked me how to ascend, then that would stop happening to you. You know what I mean?
Okay, so you're distracting, and that's fine. You're having your fun. I've got no problem with that. But just to be clear.
And the reason Piers Morgan stormed out on this situation, this was one guy down. There was numerous people from that documentary that's about to come on, and this was something that was going to be brought up constantly, especially from people in this space like the manosphere or quote-unquote masculine males that try to insert their dominance. They're going to bring up the fact that your wife don't respect you. He would have to listen to a lot more of this.
Chill it out. Tell him to come back on and we'll chill it out. But it's like, stop pushing this homophobic bullshit. You want to look holier than thou. Like, stop all that. Anyone can have a push and a shove. Tell him to come back on, talk to me respectfully. This is what I wanted him to come in real life, because he wouldn't speak like that to me unless, you know, it was through the camera. Like, talk to me face to face as a man, bringing up bullshit points. That's crazy. I didn't even want to bring up. I even said to him, don't, just leave me alone. Trying to push this homophobic bullshit. I have a gay mate. It's impossible for me to be homophobic. I'm also not misogynistic either. I love women. Can I have the chat, please? Let me call this guy and tell him to come back on. He's sulking like a baby. Let's keep it respectful.
The amount of stuff she posted is bizarre. I want it all done by the time I get back from work. Also, you missed a bit. There's an Instagram post and there's various other examples. So Piers Morgan is literally the opposite to these guys.
Says she's unsatisfied in the bed because Piers broke his hip. They're only going to see the fact that Piers is in the hospital and her wife needs to signal to the world she's not sexually satisfied because he has a broken hip. Piers, bro. Piers, I really feel for you. Wallahi, I feel for you. And I'm praying for you, man. I really, nobody even cares about the writing. She's just signaling to the world that she's not satisfied. Holy, he took a tumble like a sack of spuds. London Bridge fell down. And she's like, can you walk? Like, can you walk? Can you walk?
Maybe we need to conduct a little investigation to find out if Piers Morgan is definitely a cuck, but a lot of the stuff that she said is very bizarre on Instagram. It's like it's a little bit of joy coming from her to humiliate her husband, and Piers Morgan hates these alpha male type guys with a passion. Obviously, some of the stuff they say we don't agree with, but he hates them with a passion. They say Sneeko used to be a cuck himself. He watched his girlfriend get effed, and he sussed out that Piers Morgan is one. Obviously, there is some stuff that is very bizarre here.
Yeah, that. No, he replied. Like he's literally wincing in pain. In fact, men have a pathological reluctance to help themselves in medical emergencies. His wife, bro, his wife. No, hold on. Is this actually his wife? She's just writing an article calling him a bitch. Fact, men are not pussies and they should. So she's basically saying she expected him to just get over it. She's saying men are supposed to just get over when they take a little tumble. Yeah, that's his wife, who hasn't taken his last name.
I think Piers Morgan will definitely take a step back from interviewing these manosphere type guys and the quote unquote alpha male influencers. If he's gonna, he should confront them on real issues like scams, frauds, stuff that they've done. It's always the same sort of arguments. It's getting boring at this point.
It's absolutely hilarious that I've woke up and I'm seeing it all over the internet. Piers 22, Piers Wills, Cucko Morgan has been absolutely violated. Big up to Katie Hopkins as well. You are an absolute MILF and a national treasure. And big respect to you. Piers, God, I'd love to be a fly on the wall when you got home. I'd love to be a fly on the wall when you got home, sir. Unlucky.